can't stop. Fuck around, make my 40 pop.
Boruto chapter 64 review. Alright guys, this chapter has just been released and we finally got to figure out exactly what happened in the Boruto versus Cold battle, what happened with Naruto looking for Boruto, and what happened with a bunch of other things. Now, the first thing that I definitely do have to talk about has to be the Boruto versus Cold battle, because I personally believe that this right here is going to be the star of the whole chapter. How good is Karma to Boruto, and of course, how well did he stack up versus Cold? This battle right here is very confusing. Boruto and Cold seem like they're not necessarily going 100% all out. And that right there seems very unfortunate, man, because this right here might be the last time that we do actually get to see Karma to Boruto for a very long time, because he did actually collapse at the end of the chapter. Now, the reason why I say it doesn't necessarily seem like they were going all out is very simple. Ida essentially told Cold to stop playing around and take Boruto serious. So whatever happened in this chapter, a lot of people are going to automatically assume that Cold wasn't necessarily going 100% all out, and that right there is extremely unfortunate. Now, another thing is the fact that Cold can't actually kill Boruto. We understand that Cold's overall plans to feed Boruto to the Ten Tails. Now, of course, what Ishiki Otsutsuki showed us is that that right there doesn't necessarily mean that he can't actually injure or hurt Boruto, because what Ishiki Otsutsuki did to Boruto back in Boruto episode 216 was absolutely demonic. But I want you guys to understand that that right there is still a point of contention upon people saying that Cold is not necessarily going 100% all out. Now, not only that, Boruto towards the end of the chapter actually told Cold that, hey, cheap tricks aren't going to work on you. I see. It looks like I'm going to have to go all out, or we're going to have to go all out, something along the lines of that. But regardless, a couple of things that was made very clear: Boruto is on Cold's level, or at least this version of Cold's level. Now, previously I did talk about the possibility of Cold having a Karma 2 version as well, just like how Boruto is now in Karma 2. Now, of course, this right here isn't necessarily confirmed, man, because Cold himself has a white Karma seal. What we do understand is that the white Karma seal isn't necessarily akin or the same as the regular Karma seal. What we had thought previously was that the only difference between the regular Karma seal and the white Karma seal was the fact that the white Karma seal can't actually make you a vessel to an Otsutsuki member. That right there isn't necessarily confirmed. That right there is the only difference. So because of that, it's definitely possible that Cold himself does not have the second stage of the Karma seal. And of course, we see it in this chapter as well. He didn't really enter the second stage of the Karma seal, even though Boruto was absolutely blitzing him. Now, in this fight, one of the biggest questions was going to be, does Boruto have full control? It was made very clear that Boruto has full control over this form right here, and a lot of people in this actual chapter assume that the reason why Boruto has full control is because of the drugs that Amano did actually give him. Now, if that is the case, that right there is absolutely impeccable. Boruto should 100% keep taking those pills. But of course, I want you guys to sit back for this. I want you guys to sit back for this. And of course, I'm a big Naruto fan. A lot of you guys are big Naruto fans out there. And of course, I've been pretty much seeing this all over my Twitter timeline. People are essentially in denial, not only on Twitter timeline, but also on YouTube. People are in denial. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to understand this. At this very moment, it is very possible that Boruto has officially surpassed Naruto. I want you guys, again, to calm down and rationalize what we are seeing. A character who was clearly above the strength of Naruto is being matched by Boruto. And me saying that Boruto has matched Cold is me being very generous. Now, of course, I do want to preface this by saying it's very possible that Cold has the second stage of the Karma seal that we just have not seen yet. It's very possible. But at this very moment, it looks like Boruto, if Cold doesn't have the second stage of the Karma seal, actually matched Cold. And of course, Cold has already surpassed Naruto. The reason why I say me saying Boruto has matched Cold as being generous is because in this actual battle, Boruto hit Cold, like actually landed on Cold 4 times. Cold landed on Boruto once. If you're being even more generous to Cold, you could say Cold landed 3 blows, mainly because he destroyed 2 of Boruto's shadow clones. But those aren't really Boruto, those are Boruto's shadow clones. So in this chapter, in this fight, what we have seen is that Boruto essentially dominated the battle and came very, very close to actually killing Cold. In this actual battle, Boruto used a Vanishing Rasengan. Now, of course, we know what the Vanishing Rasengan, we understand that it's not necessarily the most powerful jutsu, but when it actually does catch you off guard, similar to what Momoshiki did actually say when he was in the body of Borishiki, he says they could definitely do some damage. It came came very, and I mean very close to actually connecting with Code and doing a lot of damage. If that blow, in my personal opinion, had actually connected, it would have been game over. So of course I'm being generous by saying that Boruto and Code are just matched evenly. And in fact, in the actual translation that Organic Dinosaur did actually put out, she essentially said in the preview, it said that the two Karma users were evenly matched. Now, of course, the only two Karma users that we know right now is Boruto and Code. That pretty much means that Boruto and Code are evenly matched. Now, I personally have been saying that I want to see the official translations come out first before I actually do start making any complete judgments. But I'm not gonna lie, as of right now, if any other character was in Naruto's position, we would all be saying Boruto has officially surpassed Naruto, but because it is Naruto, we have to take as much countermeasures as we can to essentially confirm the fact that Boruto has actually officially surpassed Naruto. So I'm not necessarily going to say it as of right now that Boruto has officially surpassed Naruto, but what I will say is that every single sign is pointing to the fact that Boruto has already surpassed Naruto, which is insane in itself. Now, getting off of that battle real quick, I'm going to come back to this battle right quick. I do want to talk about Naruto's involvement in this chapter. Now, in this chapter, Naruto used Sage Mode. A lot of people, I don't know why, actually assume that Naruto did not have Sage Mode. Now, judging by my last video's comment section, a lot of you guys already understood that Naruto had Sage Mode, but he goes into Sage Mode and he actually finds Boruto. The most interesting part about this is the fact that Naruto was actually going to be going to Boruto's location at this very moment, which is of course what everybody wanted to see. Not only that, Shikamaru will also be accompanying Naruto. Now, of course, the overall question is going to be, how good is Boruto going to be in the next chapter? Because what we have seen at the end of this chapter, which is going to be a very underrated thing, man, because a lot of people do understand that Boruto is most likely not going to die, but it's going to be very important for this specific moment right here. How well is Boruto going to be in the next chapter, and can he actually fight? Assuming that Boruto would be 100% in the next chapter, I can make a very good case that Boruto plus Naruto plus Kawaki would definitely be good enough to defeat Code right here and now. But hypothetically, if Boruto is out of commission in the next chapter, can a team of Shikamaru plus Naruto plus Kawaki actually defeat Code? That right there is going to be a very big question. Not only that, will Sasuke also join the battle? What we did hear about from Shikamaru in this particular chapter right now is the fact that Sasuke is still out actively looking for Code. Can he potentially find Code? Can he potentially have the same idea that Naruto had? If he does hypothetically come across Boruto's chakra signature, it would definitely make sense that Sasuke would also try to pull up and see exactly why Boruto is outside of the village. Now, of course, if you guys were to ask me, Naruto plus Sasuke plus Shikamaru plus Kawaki might have to just sit back right quick. That right there, in my personal opinion, would definitely be good enough to actually defeat Code and end this whole thing right here and now. But then again, I have to bring this up constantly, going back to Code's point of view. If Code actually does have the second stage of the Karma Seal and he was holding back a completely different level this whole entire time, it might be over. The only way that they could possibly escape from Code is if Boruto returns to at least 80% of his original self, so he could potentially fight off Code. Now, getting away from that real quick, Kawaki also had a different change in mind. If you guys did recall, a couple of chapters ago, Kawaki's original plan was to go and actually meet Ida to possibly convince Ida to tell Code, like, hey, stop trying to terrorize the world, period. Now, it turns out that Kawaki himself had a change in heart. The reason why he had a change in heart is because he essentially seen that Boruto himself had a very good chance of actually being in Code. Of course, going back to what I said earlier, Boruto essentially matched Code, and that's being absolutely generous to Code. But Kawaki now thinks that they could possibly beat Code right then and there. Now, of course, Boruto collapsing in the last chapter may have turned all of that completely upside down. Code himself can't necessarily retaliate against Kawaki, man, because you understand that Kawaki is going to be very valuable to his overall plan. The biggest fear, in my personal opinion, is going to be if Code actually just up and takes Kawaki and just leaves, because they are, Naruto specifically, Naruto and Shikamaru are 40 kilometers away from Naruto and Sasuke. I honestly don't think that Code is going to have that much time. I think that Naruto in real time would probably get there in probably like 1 to 2 minutes or something like that. Now, of course, a lot of you guys might say like, hey, Baara, that's like 25 miles. Naruto is essentially that fast. It doesn't take that much time for Naruto to cover 25 miles. But one thing that I definitely do have to say is that the conversation about this chapter doesn't necessarily end right here. I'm pretty much going to be talking about this chapter for a very long time. If you guys want to keep up to date with what I have to say about this chapter, make sure you guys subscribe, like the video, comment, and of course, the biggest thing that I'm personally going to be talking about in the next coming days is going to be how strong is Boruto, and also, of course, Did Boruto actually surpass Naruto? This right here is going to be a conversation, in my personal opinion, for the next month. For me personally, I understand that a lot of other people are going to have some very big trepidations, mainly because Naruto is a huge character, and of course people want to see the best for Naruto. But at this particular point, damn near all signs are pointing to the fact that Boruto has officially surpassed Naruto. But let me know what you guys think. It's been your boy Baara B, and we out.
It's a knife.